You're listening to The High Five. One topic, 5 minutes. For stoners, by stoners. Learn more at The High Five Show on socials or randomaxnetwork.com. Because a friend with weed is a friend indeed. And sometimes you just need a high five.
This is a bit of a serious topic, so it might be uncomfortable for some people. Feel free to skip on to the next one. I am referring to the Depp versus Heard trial that is completely consuming the media right now. And because they're both celebrities, there are such passionate fans on both sides. There's really not a lot of objective. Not that I'm going to be super objective either. There's really not such thing, I don't know, really as true objectivity. But for right now, I'm just going to introduce the conversation and give my initial instincts. I used to fucking love Johnny Depp. I went and met him while he was filming Public Enemies. I literally think I stood outside in the rain for 12 hours with a couple friends, and I know my dad stuck it out because we needed a chaperone. Thank you, Dad. He came out in the rain. He was super nice, shook every single person's hand. But I'm also a person who immediately believes any survivor of abuse who comes forward, unless there is, substantial reason not to. The argument that people come forward for like fame and fortune, there's almost no incentive in any case for anyone to come forward with false abuse claims. When Amber Heard published her op-ed, I believe it was in the Washington Post in 2018, which we now learned it was ghostwritten by the ACLU, which has really had some problematic choices lately. She was supposed to give them like $3.5 million, and then they were going to name her an ambassador to domestic violence. But then she never paid them. She was also supposed to pay someone else something at some point, and she never paid that. Anyway, when she published that op-ed, despite how much I had loved Johnny Depp for years, I immediately denounced him. I no longer really watched any of his stuff. I didn't support him. If you asked me about him, I would let you know that's why. Like, I just immediately believed her. Like, why would she, come forward and say that shit? I know there were some questions early on, but there always are in any case. There's so much that happens behind closed doors. Ultimately, that op-ed led to him being fired by Disney, so that's why he stopped making Pirates of the Caribbean movies. And he was fired by Warner Brothers, working on the bad Harry Potter knockoffs. Fuck you, J.K. Rowling. Essentially, they're both suing each other now for defamation, saying the other one is lying, the other one abused them, they're innocent. And there's a lot of really weird shit that Amber has been confirmed to do, like poop in their bed. But I will just say that my first response is everyone feels emotions differently. Everyone displays emotions differently. Because I have questions about how they may display and behave in court, that does not mean it means that they're lying or telling the truth. However, I was in an abusive relationship that did result in multiple court sessions and testifying and literally reliving the abuse that took place against me several times. And for me, it was much quicker after the relationship. This is several years for Johnny and Amber, but for me, it was only a couple months. And the emotions were definitely like very present, but sometimes we break down, yes. But if it's like multiple days in a row or every time you're telling a story, it's like at some point, is it not a choice? I'm not saying the feelings aren't real, but the display, the performance. I'm also watching The Staircase right now, the HBO version, the fictionalized version essentially, but I watched the documentary series as well. And in both of them, it's like the way Michael Peterson behaves in court, it comes off so performative, and outside of court as well. Like he always knows the cameras are on him. Like whether you think he's innocent or guilty, even the people on his team are like, Michael, like stop it. Like you're acting a fool. There are certain types of people that just thrive off of this attention. And even when they're losing, even when it's spiraling out of their control, they'll still do anything to stay in that spotlight. And so Amber Heard reminds me of a lot of Michael Peterson when it comes to their behaviors, like about their cases, even though they're completely different. And I'm not commenting on whether either of them are guilty or innocent. On the flip side, to me, Johnny Depp in court seems extremely at ease, extremely comfortable. And obviously when you're guilty of something and you have to think of your every move to make sure you don't slip up, you can never actually be comfortable. You can try to fake comfort, and some people can pull it off. Johnny Depp is an amazing actor, so maybe this is all an act, and, he's got a lot of people wrapped around his finger. But he doesn't trip up in his statements. If you tell the truth, you don't really trip up. And these people are going through things that they've now gone through at least dozens of times, if not hundreds of times. So there shouldn't be any confusion. And I get that this is now coming out like I'm really biased against Amber Heard, but there hasn't really been a lot of questions when it comes to the timelines that Johnny Depp has provided and who he was with and what he was doing. Whereas with Amber Heard, it's like a lot of those things are vague. Or, for example, she said she carried around this specific brand makeup to cover up her bruises. Well, the makeup brand came out and said, when this abuse took place, our makeup brand didn't make that palette that you said you had. Also, our makeup does not work to cover up bruises. If you're not sure of the brand, you probably just wouldn't say a brand. And I'm sure maybe they asked her, but then maybe you just say, I'm not sure, I can find out for you. But to go out of your way to mention a specific brand, but didn't Google to make sure it actually existed at the time, I don't know. For me personally, once somebody lies about anything, I basically don't trust them about anything. I don't believe liars stop lying, at least not liars who are grown adults. So that really makes me question things. And that's not the only thing with her. Most of it takes place behind closed doors. So these outside witnesses don't necessarily mean anything. But Amber Heard's assistant, who worked with her for thousands of hours, came forward and said, never saw anything bad come from Johnny, but Amber abused the shit out of Johnny and me. She treated me like fucking shit. She didn't pay me well. She wanted me everywhere, doing everything. She would scream at me. That person has nothing to gain by coming forward and lying, unless Johnny Depp is sliding her, $10 million onto the table. But why her then? Clearly Amber treated this person like shit. And if you abuse one person who's close to you, might you abuse someone else? Their couples therapist came forward and said that they believe that the couple participated in mutual abuse, where there was legitimate abuse from each side. To me, that's what I lean most towards. There's a chance that one of them was acting more in retaliation. I know I did things in my relationship to retaliate and fight back that I would never do if not provoked, but that did not make it mutual abuse. I was not abusing my partner back. There has to be an ongoing multi-participation of this abuse for it to be mutual abuse. The last thing I will say is Johnny Depp, we know, was abused as a child. And unfortunately, a lot of survivors who maybe didn't have access or didn't get the proper help do go on to perpetuate the cycle and continue the abuse. So if you were hit by someone who quote unquote loved you and you forgave them and stayed with them, first of all, you might do that again. So you might be the abusee in multiple relationships, or it might have ingrained deeply into your subconscious. Maybe when you're really drunk or just really exhausted, really hungry, they just catch you at the wrong time, and you turn around and just like your mother or father did, you slap your partner across the face or whatever. And if it happens once, I'm sorry, but it's going to happen again. That is the number one thing that I wish I listened to. And not only does it happen again, but because they've now pushed through this one boundary, the next time it happens, it's going to be worse. Sorry if this was a rambling mess when it's such a serious topic. Thank you for listening to The High Five. If you or anyone you know might be dealing with abuse of any kind, or you know someone who might need help, or you just have questions, please visit the randomxnetwork.com, and the page for The High Five will have some resources listed for you. Thank you so much for listening.
This has been a production from the Random Acts Network. Whether you're looking for scary stories, comedy, or candid conversation, you can find it all on the Random Acts Network. To support or learn more, please visit randomxnetwork.com.